Hi, my name is Thijs. I'm the technical evangelist at Varnish Software, and welcome back. It's Tuesday, so that means another episode of 2-Minute Tech Tuesdays. And in this episode, we'll talk about cache variations. So I'll put 2 minutes on the timer and tell you all about it. Cache variations, as the name implies, are variations of a cached object. But before we can talk about those, we need to look at how regular objects are identified in the cache. And for that, we'll use the unique identifier being the URL, and more specifically, the host and the path section. These values are used to create a hash that is used to look up the object in the cache. But what if your page also depends on a request header, such as the accept language header to create multilingual content? It could either have, in this example, English content or Dutch content. But it's pretty much a first come first served business, because the first one that requests the content uses its language and the object gets stored in cache, which is unacceptable because then the wrong language would be presented if there were no variations. So it's pretty obvious that cache variations serve a purpose, and issuing a cache variation can be done through a vary response header, and the value is a valid request header. So in this case, we're performing a cache variation based on the accept language header. And as this diagram nicely illustrates, the main object identified by example.com/ has an English variation and a Dutch variation. And you can see that depending on the accept language header presented by the request, different content will be returned. But what happens if you use a language cookie? And how do you create those variations? Could you do a vary cookie? Yes, but there are risks involved. Imagine the following cookie. It has a unique Google Analytics tracking code and then this language cookie on which we want to do the variation. The problem is this cookie will create a unique variation for every user, which jeopardizes the hit rate. The solution is to write some VCL, and in this case, internally remove all the cookies from the cookie header except the language cookie. And if you're using Varnish Enterprise, you have a clean API, and you can do this through cookie+.keep. And that will allow you to safely perform a vary cookie. But there's also another solution that doesn't require a vary cookie. In fact, you can extend VCL hash and add the cookie to it by identifying whether or not there is a cookie and if it fits the right value, and then performing a hash data on the cookie value. If you're using Varnish Enterprise, again, there's a clean API through the cookie plus vmod, so it's a matter of performing a hash data on the cookie plus.get and the language cookie. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you realize how useful and important cache variations are. Even though the URL is a unique identifier, the content may not be unique, and it may depend on certain request headers. So keep that in mind, use the vary header, use it carefully, and write the necessary VCL to counter some of the negative aspects of it. So thank you again for watching. I'll see you next week with more videos presented to you on a Tuesday in 2 minutes or less.